Good morning. Welcome you all to webinar 4 in the series of PD webinars exclusive to teachers of English throughout Vietnam at kindergarten to grade 12 using the new textbooks series, and proudly brought to you by the organizing committee with the consultation, support, and guidance from the Vietnamese Association or VTA, the Regional English Language Office or RELO, the U.S. Embassy Hanoi, Vietnam, as well as the sponsorship from VTA, RELO, Lom Pearson, Vietnam, ISET Clever Learn Hanoi, and Talking English. My name is Giang, and I'm a lecturer at Hanoi National University of Education, or HNUE, and currently a PhD student at Faculty of Faculty of Education, Monash University, Australia. And I'm the initiator of this PD webinar series and one of the organizing committee members. One of the members of the organizing committee of this PD webinar series. And other members are Miss Thị Hương, Thái Nguyên University, Miss Đỗ Thị Phương Mai, my colleague at HNUE, Mr. Trần Quang Nam, Ho Chi Minh University of Education, and Miss Nguyễn Ngọc Ánh, Banking Academy of Vietnam, and currently a PhD student at University of Canterbury, New Zealand. Thank you so much, all the members of the organizing committee, for voluntarily spending your precious time organizing the PD webinars so far. And let me kick off by introducing a little bit about the webinar series. As you can see on the slide, there are 4 main themes of the PD webinar series, including English language teaching methodologies, or ELT methodologies, using information and communication technologies, or ICT in ELT, testing and assessment, and professional development, or PD. Webinar 1 brings a great success with Dr. Hà Văn Sinh as the main facilitator and Dr. Trần Đăng Khánh Linh as, Dr. Hà Văn Sinh as the speaker, and Dr. Trần Đăng Khánh Linh as the main facilitator. Miss Lê Thu Hằng,
để upload lên
Thu Thảo,
thì nghe learning English. Có nghe thường xuyên rồi.
Hay là cứ mở cái này ra nghe này.
Excuse me, Mr. Dương, can you mute your microphone?
Sorry.
Thank you so much for your participation today. I'm talking about webinar 1 entitled Teaching Integrated Skills, with the participation of Dr. Hà Văn Sinh as the speaker, Dr. Trần Đăng Khánh Linh as the main facilitator, Miss Lê Thu Hằng, Miss Nguyễn Thị Thu Thảo, Mr. Đỗ Mạnh Cương, and Miss Phạm Thị Hải Ngọc as the facilitators. And webinar 2 is entitled Online Blended Learning Design and Delivery, with the participation of Miss Nguyễn Thị Lan Hương as the speaker, Miss Giang Thị Trang as the main facilitator, Miss Nguyễn Đức Ân, Mr. Phạm Đức Thuận, Miss Bùi Thị Liên, Miss Trần Thị Thúy, and Miss Hoàng Quỳnh as the guest speaker of the webinar. And webinar 3 is about test design and development with Dr. Nguyễn Thị Ngọc Quỳnh as the speaker, Dr. Lê Trầm Hương as the main facilitator, Miss Nguyễn Thị Phương Thảo, Miss Phạm Thị Thanh Huyền, Miss Tạ Thị Mai Hương, and Miss Đào Thị Ngân as the facilitators, and Miss Bùi Thị Thiện Sao as the guest teacher. All the information, contents, and recordings of these 4 webinars can be found and downloaded from the webinar forum at the Vietnamese website. And that brings me nicely on with the introduction about webinar 4 with Mr. Nam, our moderator today. Mr. Nam, Can you please?
Okay, so good morning all. It's nice to see you all here. Let me introduce the topic of webinar 4. The topic of webinar 4 is free online learning resources. Our speaker is Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi, a TESOL lecturer at Giang University in Luong Son City, An Giang Province. Thank you so much, Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi, for spending your precious time preparing the sharings and the pre and post webinar reference materials. Together with the sharing from Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi are the sharings from our main facilitator, Mr. Phạm Ngọc Đức, and our facilitators, Dr. Đặng Thị Thảo, Ms. Nguyễn Ngọc Ánh, Ms. Nguyễn Thị Bích Hạnh, and Ms. Đinh Thị Thái Hà. Many thanks to Mr. Phạm Ngọc Đức, our main facilitator, for supporting Dr. Nguyên to prepare for the webinar. Thanks all the facilitators so much for sharing their experience and participating our webinars today. To all the participants, feel free to interact with our facilitator during the webinar and after the webinars for follow-up activities. After this introduction, Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi, together with all the facilitators, shares her experience related to free online.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Miss Nam, we can't hear you. Maybe you mute yourself. You muted yourself.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm sorry, I mute. Let's get start again. So hello everyone. It's nice to introduce the topic of webinar 4. It is free online learning resources. Our speaker is Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi, a TESOL lecturer at An Giang University in Luong Son City, An Giang Province. Thank you so much, Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi, for spending our precious time preparing the sharings and the pre and post webinar reference materials. Together with the sharing from Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi are the sharings from our main facilitator, Mr. Phạm Ngọc Đức, and our facilitators, Dr. Đặng Thị Thảo, Ms. Nguyễn Ngọc Ánh, Ms. Nguyễn Thị Bích Hạnh, and Ms. Đinh Thị Thái Hà. Many thanks to Mr. Phạm Ngọc Đức, our main facilitator, for supporting Dr. Nguyên to prepare for the webinar. Thanks all the facilitators so much for sharing the experience and participating our webinars today. To all participants, please feel free to interact with our facilitators during the webinars and after the webinars for follow-up activities. After this introduction, Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi, together with all the facilitators, share her experience related to free online learning resources, followed up by a discussion between the facilitators and the speaker. If the participants have any other questions or ideas, please take note and save them to the Q&A and suggestion for follow-up activities. Finally, I'll give a brief summary of this webinar and provide several information on the next webinar. After participating in the 90-minute webinar, participants may be eligible to receive an electronic certificate. At the end of the session, we will provide a short quiz for participants to verify attendance at the webinar. This is a very interesting part. Upon verification by the Professional Development Webinar Organizing Committee, participants will receive an email with an electronic certificate. After each live webinar, the sharing materials and recording will be available on the Viet TESOL Association website. Now, it's time to move on to the sharing from Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi. I hope that you have read the pre-webinar references suggested by Dr. Bùi Thị Nguyên and have tried some professional development activities recommended by the organizing committee so that you can get the most from the webinar experience. So please, Dr. Nguyên, please.
Thank you so much, Nam, for your very nice introduction. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my first sharing about the free online learning resources. My name is Nguyên, and I'm from Giang University, Vietnam National University in Ho Chi Minh City. My university is actually located in Luong Son City in An Giang province. To start with, I would like to introduce the outline of my presentation today. In my sharing, I will focus on the typical types of learning resources, try to make the distinction between the learning materials and the learning resources. Next, I will move to some indicators of quality learning resources, some considerations for us to choose the technology in our teaching. Based on the pre-webinar survey that we administered before the webinar, I came up with some common problems that teachers of English have in their teaching practice. And then I will suggest some tips for us to deal with these common problems. All right, so to make it clear for my presentation, I define learning resources as anyone, any material that has the instructional content or function that we can use for our formal or informal teaching purposes. With that definition, it should be clear that learning resources may not be limited to print and non-print materials. We can use whatever we have as long as that kind of resources, that kind of resource can help our teaching. Even our colleagues or human resources are types of learning resources. All right, so to have an icebreaker activity, could you please join me for the first discussion? You can use the QR, use your mobile phone to capture the QR here to join our discussion today. So use your mobile phone, type in menti.com and type in the code number here, which is 806951. And tell me some kinds of learning resources that you are familiar with. Here we go. Could you please go to that one, please? Oops. Okay. Yep, MOOC. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yep, good. MOOC, Future Learn. So these are free online courses. Wow, American English, Breaking New English, VOA, Coursera, all of the names of the courses. Could you please continue? We still have time. We have 20 seconds left. Wow, TED Talk. Wow, you know a lot. Thank you. That's very interesting. SoundCloud, British Council. Some of these names will be repeated in my presentation, and I hope that we can learn from these things. All right, thank you so much. So Future Learn is the thing that we find familiar here. YouTube, yep. I can't agree more. A lot of you agree with YouTube. Yep. So it's a very popular channel for teachers to use in our teaching. All right, thank you so much. We have 19 people participated in this short survey. Wow, 20, YouTube again. It's the best one. All right. Thank you. So that's very interesting. Let me, oops. All right, let me move back to my presentation. Thank you so much for your time to participate in the first activity. All right, so according to the American Association of Publishers, these are the types of learning resources that we can use for our teaching. They are not limited to only textbooks. We can use apps, educational games, websites, movies, software, study guides, teacher guides, like anything from teachers. However, when you look at all these types of learning resources, what is your first feeling? It's just too much. Getting information from the internet is just like we are taking a small ring from a fire hydrant. It's just too much for just one class or one lesson. So what should we do? I have sent to the participants some of the pre-webinar materials. In that kind of documents, you can see they suggested a lot of indicators for us to use to find or to select the quality learning resources. Here is another one from research. It's research-based. So to select the quality learning resources, we should pay attention to the quality of the content first, to see whether the resources we are choosing are aligned with our learning goals, whether students can have feedback or we can adapt the materials for our students' learning styles, whether we can motivate them to participate so that they can feel very interested in the activities. We also care about the design of the materials, the usability, the accessibility, and one of the most important things is to care about the standards that are used to design that kind of learning resources. So it's just too much in just 1 or 2 minutes to talk about something very, very important for us. So let's do something in practice. I would like to give you one scenario. Mrs. Mai is teaching Unit 11 of English Class 3, Volume 2. And the topic of her class, her lesson is, "This is my family." To enrich the class activities, she is looking for some supplemental learning materials or activities from the website. So what is your suggestion? I would like you to type into the chat box of this webinar to show some indicators of a quality website. So when you look at the websites, what are some things that you should pay attention to? Please, we have 1 minute. Here we go. I hope you read the pre-webinar materials already, so you have some clues of what to type in. Have you seen anything, Ms. Hương? Could you please read out loud? Thank you.
Yeah, so there's some ideas here. Some people share that the important thing when looking for a website is it content menu and the country origin of the website.
Mm-hmm.
And
yep.
A quality website should have a high rate of visiting, rich resources, trustworthy resources, and authentic materials.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
That sounds like you know a lot already. So thank you. So let me show you some more criteria that we can use to evaluate our website. Can you still see my screen? Yep. Yes. All right. Thank you. You see the compilation of some advice from different resources. So to me, I think the first impression is very important. When you look at the website, you should evaluate to see whether it's student friendly, whether the levels of reading and interest are suitable to your students, whether it's easy to load the content, or any pop-ups or any advertisement banners or asking for personal information. Do the links work well? So after getting the first impression, we move to the next step. That is using the criteria to assess the website. The first thing is, the first indicator can be the technical and visual aspects of the page. The second one is content, authority, and the last one is pedagogy. To make it very simple to understand and remember, just 5 key things: when, what, who, why, where. All of the were questions. So when was the site updated? Is it old, new? Who created that one? Whether the content comes from reliable resource, or whether the purpose of the site is suitable for your purpose. Something in general that we can judge the website, but 4 key things that we should remember when we choose or select any website for our teaching practice. All right, so based on these indicators, Ms. Mai chose to select a resource from British Council. And oops, all right. Can you see the website now? Teaching English from British Council. Here we have so many things. And for the first question, who, is from British Council. About the interface, about the design, it looks well, the links are working well. So for the purpose of the why question, is it suitable for our teaching? Ms. Mai select teaching primary because she is teaching class 3. So teaching resources, teaching primary. And then here we go. We have so many things here. It's just too much to spend time on. So she looks at the A to Z of content. So her unique topic is family. So click on F. And here we have family and friends. Yeah, luckily we have the lesson plan already here. Just open it here. Yep, we have the topic, the learning goals here, the age of the students, time, and here we have all kinds of materials here, from word games, songs, story, flashcards, worksheets, and even we have the lesson plan here to adapt to suit our teaching. So it's from the author here, and at the end we have the source and the year, so it's very updated. All right, so let's move back to our, oops, sorry, move back to our situation here. What should we advise her in this case? Yep, you can see me now, right? So from this one, is the website that Mrs. Mai found a high quality learning resource? Yes or no? Let's move to this one and we can see based on the criteria here, the technical and visual aspects, yes or no? Yes. The content, yes. The authority, that means the author, yes. The pedagogy, yes, we have a lot of activities and lesson plans so that we can adapt. So that's something useful for her. All right, sorry, just move on. So I have just presented some selection criteria for us when we choose a website for our teaching. So how about other kinds of learning resources? How about the technologies? What should we do? What are some criteria that we should pay attention to? Let's watch a video with some advice from the experts in our area. Okay.
The associated PID introduction of the technology is contextually appropriate. There's no one answer to this. It's really about your circumstances as an educator, what your students' needs are. It's the capacity to make an informed and effective choice of the technology that's the important distinction for the staff who are teaching into any given field.
Excuse me, Dr. Nguyên, I think you forgot to switch the window.
Oh, it's not on? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you. Can you see it now?
Yeah, you can see it now.
Yep, thank you. Okay, let me move back to...
The introduction of the technology is contextually appropriate. There's no one answer to this. It's really about your circumstances as an educator, what your students' needs are. It's the capacity to make an informed and effective choice of the technology that's the important distinction for the staff who are teaching into any given field.
Any integration needs to be fit for purpose. So just using the latest gadgets and the latest technology because it's there is not going to sustain itself. Students very quickly see through that facade. They value technology when it adds to their learning, not when it's just seen as a gadget and a bolt-on.
It's not the technology that is going to solve the issues that people have when it comes to teaching and learning.
The technology needs to add or challenge their learning or add to their learning.
Each individual case, we look at the tools that we're confident in using and just pick the best ones for that specific project. And we always try and let the content drive the tool that we use rather than the other way around.
When you use online components, you can use multiple technologies, but the technology is just a means to an end.
Yep, technology is just a means to an end. So what should we do in this case when we select the materials? I mean the technology. I hope that you can watch that one again at home based on the pre-webinar materials that we have sent to you. With this one, I would like to make it easier for us to remember by making a summary of all of the considerations from the experts. To me, we should remember just 4 keywords. I can call it PASS, P-A-S-S, pedagogical, allied, suitable, and supportive. When we choose any technology for our teaching, remember that pedagogy comes first, comes before the technology. We don't just use any kind of fancy or free or popular technologies, but don't care about its purpose and whether it can be supportive to our teaching methods or pedagogical ideas. The technologies that we choose should also be aligned with our learning objectives or curriculum or syllabus.
Ms. Nguyên, can you go back to your slide, please?
Oh my, sorry.
Thank you. And to all the participants, please mute your microphone. Thank you.
All right. So let me do it again. I forgot to share the screen. So based on the video that we have watched, I would like to make a summary of the key points here. Just remember all keywords: pedagogical, allied, suitable, and supportive. We call it PASS. So when you see PASS, that means you can select that kind of technology. So the first one, remember, pedagogy comes before technology, because whatever we can use to support our students' learning, the technologies that we are using should be aligned with our learning objectives or curriculum. The technologies that we select should be suitable for students' age, years levels, or their learning styles, their experience, or their backgrounds. The technology should also be supportive to the students' learning process. We don't select something that's too fancy and difficult to learn that students cannot follow. Just make it small steps and choose something that's easy to be adapted to our teaching. So just remember 4 keywords: PASS, P-A-S-S. All right. So I have just presented some information about the types of online learning resources, some considerations for us to do when we select the learning materials or the technologies or the websites. Now we move to something that you have sent to me. That is the survey that we did before the webinar, your problems. Some of you raised a lot of good issues about the problems that we cannot cope with in our teaching in order to use the online learning resources. So I would like to make the survey again to you, because you may have missed this question in the pre-webinar survey. So again, with Menti, please use the QR code here. You use your mobile phone to capture, and then you can enter the survey directly, or you type in Menti with this code 806951 and tell me your common problems in using online learning. Here we go. We have 1 minute. Okay. Some technical problems again. Okay. Yep. Sorry, the internet is just not working very well. All right, here it is. Oops. What's wrong? Wrong here. Let me do it again. Okay, so you typed in this code 806951 menti.com. All right. Yep. The first person. Can you see my screen now? Yep. Yep. So 3 people participated in this short survey already. 5. Yep. So these types of problems were from your answers in the pre-webinar survey. So I'm just asking you again. Yeah, the highest one now is lack of training opportunities. slow or no internet connection. Oh, no more. So it seems like we have this one is the less voted, lack of reliable resources. Seems like you know a lot already. Let's come back to our presentation. I would like to share my tips to you for, can you see my screen now? Giang, can you note your head? Yep, all right. So the first one is lack of reliable resources. This is
I'm sorry, Miss Nguyên. I'm sorry, Miss Nguyên. Not yet. I'm viewing the mentimeter.com.
Oh, oops. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yep. Good. So lack of reliable resources, we can select the materials from professional community generated materials. That means these materials come from professional community. We have Khan Academy, edX, TED, a teacher trip. I'm sorry because we don't have time to go into details, but we are happy to answer the questions at the end or with the follow-up activities. I will also send you the slides here so that you can access to the links. Another tip is to use the resources from experts or from open educational resources from British Council, from a member foundation, from National Geographic Society. When you click on these links, you have thousands or hundreds of lesson plans and learning resources that you can adapt for your teaching practice. We also have the open educational resources from Commons. Here, just click on the link. Here you see the link, and then you can go directly to all of the resources here. A native speaker in your classroom, is it possible? Should we bring someone from overseas to come to our classroom? I would like to suggest one small tip that we can have a native speaker in our classroom. It's very simple. If you have a reader, the PDF, the software that can read your PDF files, you go to the top left corner and then you see view. You go to read and then read the current page. You open any PDF file, then the reader will read with a native speaker accent all of the documents that you are opening. You can use Youglish. It's not YouTube, but Youglish. Just click on this one. When you have my slides, just click on this one, and then you type in any keywords that you are not familiar with or you would like to explore to learn more. Then you can have a lot of real situations out there, authentic materials to use for your teaching. You can download the app Memrise. What is special about this one is that it pairs the works with the videos of native speakers saying the words or the phrases out loud and in reality, in real situations. We can also use corpus-based webtoons. I suggest two corpuses here, Scary and Coca. These are very famous ones. For example, you are teaching the word teacher and you don't know whether we have any common phrases or any prepositions or something to use with that word teacher. And we just typed in that keyword and we have thousands of authentic sentences that will appear on the screen for you to choose from to teach your students with real situations. Another problem that we mentioned so far is that we don't have internet or we have low internet in the classroom. So in that case, what should we do? My first suggestion would be to download or save the videos from YouTube or Facebook into your computer. Of course, you should remember about the copyright. You remember to cite the source and don't make it as your own videos. So how to download the videos from YouTube? I know most of you here are very high tech, so you may have already known about this tip. It's very easy. Just go to Firefox and go to Tools. On the top left corner, you see Tools. Click on that one and click on Add-ons. And then here you go. You have the box here. Just type in download there, and you have a lot of options here to choose. These are the add-ons that will be installed into your Firefox. And whenever you use YouTube, you can just download with different types of formats here. Please remember that you should only use those with this icon. That means recommended from Firefox. Don't use these things because they may have viruses or may not be safe for your computer. I also suggest another tool called Friendly for Facebook. Have any of you been using this one?
Not yet.
No. Yeah, it's very convenient because we can download the app from Google Play or from Apple Store. What is special about this app is that you can download the videos from your friends and you yourself from Facebook. And you can sort the news feed, like you don't want to read the news from someone, or you want to combine all of the news from your Instagram, from Facebook and Messenger all together. You can explore more when you download it. But I would recommend this one for you to download so that you can use the videos from Facebook. When you have the videos in your computers, but you don't have internet in the classroom, and you want to save time, so you can create a cloud storage to sync your data from the computer and from the cloud. So I recommend Dropbox and OneDrive. When you download or install them on your computer, you can see the icons here, Dropbox or OneDrive, and they are synced. That means whenever you go with your computer, you can have access to your data. You don't need to have internet, even though these types of data are in the cloud, in the storage online. You can use Google Drive. Of course, this one is not highly recommended because you need internet, but you can access everywhere. When you don't have internet in the classroom, you can go to some like computer labs, or you can use your mobile phone to access to the data. Now, we don't have internet. We have very low internet connections in the classroom. And we want to make students interested in the classroom activities. We can create some worksheets or flashcards or work games at home and bring them and take to the classroom. So I recommend flippity.net. Here you have a lot of options here. These are just some of them. It's very easy to use. You have the demo here, demonstration, instruction, and template. You just click on and add in the content from your subject matters or from your lessons. And then here you go. We have all of the printable materials to use in the classroom. This website is another good one. It's a free crossword maker for kids. What I like about this website is that when you type in here, can you see my mouse here? You type the puzzle words close here. Type in, for example, you type in teacher, and then it will come up with the definition here. So you don't need to think for too long. They do it for you. So it saves a lot of time. Then you click start and create here and download here the crossword puzzles. It's very easy, just simple steps, 3 or 4 steps, and you have everything ready for your class activities.
Để anh nhắn lại trong Messenger rồi.
Another problem that we have collected from your answers in the survey, that most of us complained about our lack of technological skills. We really want to use the online resources, but we don't have technological skills. So what should we do? It seems very complicated, but let's make it easy by making some fun activities for our students. We can ask students to make movies in the classroom to present some class some class assignments. For example, you can use PowerPoint. It depends on the student's age and the class levels, but this one is quite easy to use, very easy to use and convenient and fun. So we don't have time to go into details, but I give you the guide here. When you click on this one, they will teach you how to use PowerPoint. Flipgrid is another video platform. It looks like Facebook, like you create the grid and then the students respond to your questions by making videos. And it's fun. It's something that students created in their own and for fun, but at the same time, they learn too much. They learn a lot. So it's something that you may think of trying. This is something fun I created for my course when I ran it at the Australian National University. It's been very academic and professional for that course. But when I created this one, you look at here, nearly 700 views. So that means many people were interested in looking at something fun for something very professional. This course was at the Australian National Universities for my PhD. In this course, participants from different countries participated and learned to improve their intercultural language teaching. So it's very academic, but then something fun can be combined. Another tip I would like to share with you is to make something fun and sounds very fancy for the students. We can capture the computer screen to make a video. Sometimes when we don't have internet, you can use this one to, or when students are absent from the classroom, they can do their presentation this way. Let me show you. The first tip is to use Giang. Giang is free. I'm not sure now how long, but previously it was free for a long time, but now maybe 14 years or something. But it's good to try. When you install Giang into your computer, on your computer you can see this icon. It looks like a small sun, and you click on this one and you can make video. The maximum time for creating a video is just 5 minutes, but I don't think you will do that long. So maybe 1 to 3 minutes. That's enough for our classroom activities. And one problem with this one is that you cannot download the videos directly into your computer, but you need to use the third party like Screencast to share the video or to download from email. Another tool is Active Presenter. It has 2 versions, the free one and the paid one. But if you look at this one, they are not much different in terms of features. We have a lot of versions here. We now Active Presenter has a version 8. Just go and download for Windows or for Macs. They are compatible for both. This is one example from my students in the US. This participant was a student in an intercultural exchange program that I ran in 2012. She's American. She used string to capture. If you look at this one, this is the link. that she showed to present her PowerPoint slides, because at that time in Vietnam and the US, we couldn't find the suitable time to organize the face-to-face meeting. So she created this one to show the slides of her presentation. And this is her presentations. When you look at this one with Giang, it's just real. It's like you are in front of her with this capture of this computer screen. So every movement here will be captured, and all of the slides, the images will be captured in that video. Another technological skill that I think we should learn, because it's very easy to use and very convenient for our teaching, that is to learn how to edit our audio files. I recommend Audacity. Audacity is free and is compatible with different types of like Windows, Mac. Yeah. If you can read English, understand, then you can use this one. Just here, you see all of the icons here. You can edit the audios to make tests or for any other teaching purposes. Another way to make to create fun activities in the classroom is to use mobile apps. Here, I guess that most of us are familiar with this one, Vision. When you go to that website, you click on this one, you go to this one, you download a lot of coloring papers, and then the students just color them and then use then you go back to that app, and then students can see the lively pictures in 3D or augmented reality technology. For example, I download the picture of a butterfly, and then the students can just use that app and then see the butterfly flying around. It's something fun. Class Dojo is something I also recommend. Actually, for my daughter here in Australia, we use this one a lot, almost every day. Why? Because it connects parents, students, and teachers on the daily basis. When the teachers can create the students' performance in real time and report that one to parents directly. The teacher can share photos, videos during their school days and rate their performance directly on that one. So it's very convenient and saves a lot of time, and it creates connections among teachers, parents, and students. Duolingo are also compatible to be downloaded with Google Play or Apple Store. For this one, you can learn languages, and teachers can ask the student to do at home to do some exercises or flashcards, like we let the students learn for fun, but they are actually improving their skills a lot on the daily basis. Quiz Your English is another fun app created by Cambridge Assessment English. Why I recommend this one? Because we care a lot about testing. So if we want to improve our students' CEFR levels from B1 to C1, I recommend you to use this one for your students. Just click here and you explore a lot of options out there. Another technological skill that I recommend here, many of us feel like creating a learning management system or websites is something quite fancy and difficult to do. So I recommend some tools that when we follow, we just need to click on that one and drag and drop the content, and you can create it very easily. Moodle Cloud and Moodles. So the first three things are for learning management systems. Wix Web Scriptly for creating or building websites because they don't have a lot of interactive tools for you to communicate with your students. Google Classroom, you can download on Google Play or Apple Store. And here is, I am sharing with you on Google Drive for 45 ways for you to use Google tools in your classroom. So when you click on this one, you have the slides of all the instructions that you can use to create or to use the tools for your teaching activities. I give you some examples. I use Moodle Cloud. Most of us say Moodle is free, but instead Moodle is not free. Moodle Cloud is free. For Moodle, if we use that one, we need to have the host server. But for Moodle Cloud, you don't need to have host server. You just create the account here and you can host to the maximum of 50 students, only 50. If you have more than 50, you have to pay. So sorry, I go back to that one. I created this one for the project. I got the fund from CMO and the Australian Department of Education. So in this program, participants from Australia and Vietnam took part in to do some exchange programs to improve their intercultural competence and language competence. This one looks like Facebook, but it's not. It's at Moodle. In 2013, if I remember correctly, I was funded by the US Embassy to run a workshop in Lao Cai. And when I presented about this one, some of my colleagues asked whether it's real, like how can we use that one for our classroom activities. Some teachers also complained that they don't have internet to do such fancy things. To me, if you do this one, you can use your mobile phone. It's compatible with, is an app that you can download and you can get connected as you are with Facebook. But on this one, you have the news from your colleagues, from your students, and you can create an assignment here, quiz here, making poems. So many good things that we may try out. Another one is Schoology. This one is good because it has like more than 200 add-ons that you can use to create assignments, tests, or so many things here. Wix.com. This is one of the proposals that we did to get fund, but we were not successful. But the site is still there. It looks very professional. It looks like a real website that you paid. You have a lot of pages here, and you have members, and you have contact information. Webs.com. I use this one for another online exchange. This one, Weebly.com. I recommend this one to be used as a personal website rather than to interact with the students, because all of the pages here and the link seems stable. We don't have a lot of interactive tools in this website. Google Classroom. Most of you are familiar with this one, so I just move on. You know, here we can share calendar, we can have students post, check their progress, and so many other things. Another tip some tips that I recommend for problem 4 that some of you mentioned in the pre-webinar survey is that we lack of time. This is a very common saying from teachers of English. We don't have time. So what should we do? Don't have time to adapt or to use the materials. We can use something directly from these YouTube channels. These are very professional channels that they create a lot of activities for us to use. For example, if you are teaching how to use modal verbs, you just go to here and then you can have any video teaching the modal verbs with authentic videos and in real situations. For kids, I recommend this one, ELF Kids Videos and Dream English Kids. A lot of songs and fun videos for children to learn from. The last one is a really good one because it also has the website that we can download the handouts. Here you go to YouTube, you have all of the songs here, and then you can download the activities to use these songs in your classroom. Other websites that we can use to teach English sub skills. I know you know more than what I have here, but I recommend some of them from professional authors or association. Let's see, Real English, Simple English Videos, Cambridge English. Yeah, here we have, when you read my slides later, you can see and explore more. I also recommend creating online tests to save time. When we cannot use the tests that are already made for us, we create our own online. And when the tests are online, they are graded automatically. That means we save a lot of time for grading. So Easy Test Maker and Flowbarrow, you use Google Forms and you upload to this one, and then you can have everything marked. You don't need to do the marking. Here is the guide for you to use when you download this one, the app, and then you can just use the guidelines here to get the most from that website or that app. Another tool I recommend here is to schedule a meeting. We don't have time, but we spend a lot of time to respond, to answer emails, just to make one meeting. So Doodle is something really good that you just take 4 steps and then you can have the link here and send the link via email. Then people can just log in here. They don't need to log in, just type in their names here and then select the time that they are available. In that way, at the end of the poll, you can see who has, when or what time has the most voted. Then you just go on to schedule the meeting. You can also use Google Docs or Google Sheets. I know you are familiar with this one, so just move on. The last one is my recommendations for dealing with the lack of training opportunities. We have a lot of options out there, but most of it have not explored yet. It's on Facebook. Facebook, some of my older colleagues complain that Facebook is just for fun. But to me, Facebook is something that we can learn from and learn with and to share with the others. Here we have a lot of Facebook groups that we can join in, participate in. TESOL, of course, most of you know about this website from this one, so you are familiar with the first 2 groups. We have Scholastic Teachers, Teachers' Voices, Teaching English from British Council. We have American English for Educators, and we have the Microsoft Innovative Educator Experts. This one is really good one, but it's for everyone, not just for English language teachers. We don't have training opportunities, but we can study online to develop our skills and knowledge for our teaching career. When you click on Class Central, just type in any keywords that you would like to learn from. Then we have a lot of options for free from famous prestigious universities all over the world. Here are the links. All of the links from Yale, from, so many things here to learn from. This one is quite interesting. is quite different from the others because you learn in the circles with people you are familiar with, your friends, your neighbors, or something that you create the circles and invite them to learn with you. So something really good to consider. I also recommend your subscriptions, or maybe just click on the links here so that you can get updates about the upcoming events or webinars for professional learning. TESOL. We have if you click on this one, you will be surprised. We have so many events going on. We have from IATEF, from Macmillan, from Oxford, from Cambridge. Just click on the links here and you can have a lot of information about the upcoming webinars. They have a lot of ongoing activities here. So it has been very long. I have covered and shared some of the tips for you to deal with the problems in using our online learning resources. Some make the distinction between learning resources and the materials. Some considerations for you to use technologies and to use the online learning resources. So to me, to conclude, I would like to say one important thing is that please don't complicate what is already complicated. We have vast varieties of options out there to use from, but please remember for the long run of our students' learning that what we are using or teaching is just for our students' purpose, for our students' learning process, for their development. So just use something that you are familiar with, something that is effective. Effectiveness is the key word here. Don't try something too fancy that is not suitable for the students. Please don't violate the copyright issues. Don't make something from someone else to be yours. Please join the networked professional learning communities. In this digital age, the students are digital natives. So if we join in these communities, we can learn, we can share, we can contribute to the communities and to become a network teacher who can be flexible and who get updates about the new things out there to use for our digital natives. We should change our mindset for using technologies. Most of us complain we don't have time, but actually we are using our time to teach for the test, because what we care most is the outcomes. And the outcomes are determined by the test. But if we change our mindset, if we know that for language teachers, we should be able to acquire and maintain the knowledge and skills to use technology and online resources for our purposes. We should be able to integrate our skills and knowledge to our teaching. We should be able to apply the technology to give feedback and assessment to the students. We should be able to use technology to improve our collaboration and communication with students and colleagues. If you know that these are the standards that we should follow, and that teacher should have the basic and the advanced skills here. For the basic, we should improve our skills to evaluate the learning materials, to select them, to integrate them, and to use them for our purposes. So with that in mind, I have no idea how to advise you or to give you the best options to use the available online learning resources. But what I would like you to take home is this sentence: technology will not replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of great teachers can be transformational. With that in mind, I would like to end my presentation, and I wish that some of the information here will be useful for your teaching. And we are happy to receive any questions or comments or suggestions at the end of the webinar today. Thank you so much. To continue, I would like to introduce Mr. Phạm Ngọc Đức from the National Academy of Education Management. He will be sharing some information about evaluating the speaking skills in the classroom. Mr. Đức, are you there? Welcome to the stage.
Yes, I'm here. Many thanks to Mr. Nguyên, very informative presentation. Thank you. Today, I'm going to share with you about speaking activity in the classroom. Speaking, I love speaking, and I'm going to share my screen about one lesson plan I prepared on Microsoft Word. It could be very familiar with you about speaking lesson from syllabus to words to sentences. I know that all of you could use this lesson to teach your learner to practice speaking every day. However, today we are going to practice speaking with computer. It means that when you are busy or you would like your learner to practice more, how we use computer, how we use app tool to get your learner practice more accurately, but with this computer, not with you or your native teacher. What we have to do now is stop sharing and I change my screen to the web browser. And on the web browser, what you have to do is you should have one Office account. You type office.com and then Office asks you your username and password. I already have one Microsoft account here. And in Vietnam and other countries in the world, every teacher, every educator have one free account from Microsoft. And you should try if you don't have now. And now we log in and enter the password. Yeah, one cloud platform that Mr. Khôi that have mentioned is OneDrive. And now we move to OneDrive. And you select a folder. And then you upload the lesson plan. Okay, now we have uploaded our lesson plan on OneDrive. OneDrive is one application from the Office 365 of Microsoft, and we open the lesson plan online. And now we do not work with Microsoft Word from the computer. We are working online. And with Microsoft Word Online, we have a new tool. This tool called Dictate. Dictate is a technology use speech recognition. It means that your student could just talk when you start the microphone icon in the Word Online. And then the tool directly writes the word into the screen for you. So let's do an example. Today, you have a lesson to help your student practice speaking words by word. And on the lesson plan, you have the first session, they have to learn about short I. So you give them 3 times to practice. The first time, you put the dictate, teen. The second time, teen. And the last time, tin. Then you can continue with other word which have short I. For example, sit. Okay, for the first time they put the dictate. Sit. The second time, sit. Sit. And the last time, sit. So after some practice, you can have the learner move into another part of the speaking word by word. And now we have practiced with some words have long E. The first time for long E, T. The second time, T. And the last time, T. Okay, so when everything is all right, we could have our learner move to another word that have long E, like seat, seat. The second time, seat. And the last time, seat. Okay, so it's great to practice with the computer word by word. However, when something is already done with word, learner are eager to practice sentences by sentences. So now I have just got a tongue twister sentences. Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. So now we try to practice with a full sentence and we try to do it more accurately so the computer could understand the full sentence when the learner pronounce. So the first time, ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. The second time, ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. And the last time, ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Okay, it's great when we could practice a full sentence so the dictator in the word online could understand the voice and automatically translate into the word. And the learner could know something wrong in their pronunciation or something wrong in the word they have pronounced. And when they practice very interesting with the sentence, now we could move to an advanced section. They could practice by a virtual conversation. In the virtual conversation, I have put a short conversation with a partner. For example, the partner say hello. So the learner could put the mouth here and hello. Okay. The partner, nice to meet you. So the voice, nice to meet you too. Where I've come from. Okay. So we have tried with a traditional lesson plan when we teach speaking from word by word, from sentence by sentence, and a virtual conversation in word online with a dictator, a artificial application that use speech recognition. And now we moved to a more complicated section. For example, in IELTS, the learner often practice a long sentence in more than 15 or 30 seconds. I put here a short answer for the question. Let's tell me something about the country, and because the learner is practicing with themselves, they don't have any native speaker from a foreign country, but they want to hear the native voice. What should we do? We have another tool here. You could use immersive reader. Immersive reader is another voice artificial intelligence tool that could automatically read a corpus, a sentence in English. Let's try.
Where have come from underscore 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 underscore. IELTS speaking. My hometown is in a mountain area in Vietnam. It is really far from Hanoi, the capital of my country. Some years ago, the public transport was extremely poor. People had to commute by their own vehicle.
So after they have to listen to the native voice in the immersive reader, they could practice again. And this time they could return to the dictator and let's practice. My hometown is in a mountain area in Vietnam. It's really far from Hanoi, the capital of my country. Some years ago, the public transport was extremely poor. People had to commute by their own vehicle. Okay, now it could be something we don't have any native speaker for a foreign country, but the learner could practice with the native voice. Besides Office 365 and the dictator, which that help the learner listen to the native speaker voice and practice with the computer, I'm going to share with you another very useful tool to practice speaking. You type on the web browser the otter.ai. If you already have a Google account or Microsoft account, you don't have to create any new account yet. Use this account already enter to the otter.ai. With otter.ai, the first thing you could do with it is you could record your voice in a conversation. So let's do it. So today you are going to deliver a lesson about public speaking or speaking about countryside or your hometown. So let's do a record. And you name the conversation. Okay, you name the conversation is talking about your hometown. And you can listen to what you have done. And you name the conversation. That's just you engage your learner practice one by one. However, with otter.ai, you could do a group discussion in English. But you set the name of the group here. And the partner, they also have a Gmail or email address, so you can invite them here and to make a group discussion or group practice in English speaking. What's more interesting about the otter.ai is that when you attend a conference or when you have an audio but you could not listen or you could not understand fully the conversation, what you could do with Otter, you can import the audio. I have a audio file, but the speed of the speaking is really fast. I couldn't understand the fully conversation, so I could upload to the otter.ai. So wait for some minute. After the upload, we could return to the screen, and now I have the conversation from the audio file here and wait for some second. They are processing our conversation, and after author.ai finished, we could see the whole conversation here in word by word. And when we are waiting, the audio file is processing. Author.ai could also use on the mobile phone. It means that when you're attending an international conference and you want to have a live caption, you could use on the mobile phone. It's on the app, and Author.ai is automatically translate all the transcript, the caption in the international conference for you. It's also good for your learner when they attend your English class and you 100% by English, but some words, some sentences they could not follow, so they could use this for processing. Oh, here we are. And with this audio file, Author.ai automatically translate and summarize the keyword of the speaking, and we could try to hear and listen to the transcript.
Unit 1, page 12, conversation listening. Conversation 1. So, nice to meet you.
Okay, so today, my discussion, my sharing with you have only two web apps. The first is Office 365, and in Office 365, you could use Word Online. Word Online have two very powerful tools for you to engage your learner practice speaking. The first one is a dictate tool, and the second one is the immersive reader. And the second part is the Author.ai is another voice recognition that's very useful for you to motivate your learner practice speaking in one person or in group, or automatically translate the transcript in one audio file. Thank you for the listening. The next part, I very honored to introduce Ms. Đinh Thị Thái Hà from Luong Son High School, since we're going to deliver something more interesting about some apps in teaching English. Ms. Đinh Thị Thái, please.
Thank you, Mr. Phạm Ngọc Đức, with your interesting sharing. And I'm pleased to introduce you the app that supports you in teaching and learning. Can you? The app I would like to introduce you is named So Creative. So Creative is a free web app that offers an easy and friendly experience to teachers to engage and assess your student. It's very easy to use to create formative assessment and getting the result in actual time. Static form points and assess students' competence immediately, and to assess a detailed report of student performance directly. For teacher can create simple quizzes, tasks, and with many purposes. Check all lessons, new ways, grammar, tests, and get the result immediately with the score. Students can take tasks quickly on the laptop and via classroom tablet, computers, their own smartphone. It's very easy to get So Creative account. You click on sign up or free login button. You can see teacher login. You type your email, password, reset password, and then sign in. You can sign in with Google So Creative or Microsoft So Creative. It's okay. Here to sign up, sorry. I will let you know how to sign up with the Socrates teacher. You open the Socrates and teacher logs in. When you have account, you get Socrates teacher and teacher logs in. Sign in. In order to make your quizzes at your purpose of, you can design the quizzes when you click in quizzes. Oh, I can see. If you want to make a new quiz, you click on add quiz, create it new. You can see there are 3 types of quiz: MCQs, true false, and short answer. One of those
we can see the screen. We just see the PowerPoint. Can you train?
Okay. You can see the screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, of course. But
Yes,
that's
okay.
PowerPoint.
Why not screen?
We could see your presentation, not your web browser.
Yes, I will show it. Can you see it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Miss Hannah, you need to stop sharing and then
Stop sharing.
you share, please.
Got it, right.
Yeah. Can you see?
All right.
Yes. Ready?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
If you want to create quiz the task with our purpose, you click on quizzes. Let's see. Add quizzes. And click on create new. There are three types of quiz here: multiple choice, true false, and short answer. One of the most thing I like in Socrates is the question and the answer are not limited to the number of characters, no limited question in one task, and I can do as example, multiple choice. You can copy paste from your document, or you can make new one. Copy paste from your document. It's to for example, for multiple choice, you can copy like this. Question. And you can delete the and the question. You click to the answer like this. And remember to save. Remember to save. And another example for true false questions. I click on true false. My document, true false. I think this is a false, so I click on false, and I save. And another example for short answer. I click on short answer. Yes, no. Record is the verb, and now I add the answer. Yes. And I say. And you can add as many tasks or questions as you want. And now I save and edit. It's unnamed. You can copy, download, or share your task or your exercise as you design. And if you want to ask your student to interact with your task that you designed, you show the room at the corner of the room. My classroom is HA6826. Try to remember. And then you ask your student to log in like this. Student log in. Click on. And type the room name here. 6826, and then join. So in that time, you open your account. You launch a quiz. You choose a quiz. Click on launch quiz and anti-quiz. Instant feedback and start. I try to find my phone. I join. Oh. Launch quiz. So untie. Next. I can join. Can you join the my room name? 8A6826 as an example. Student. I can launch my.
Ms. Ha, I have entered code.
Enter code, yes, start.
Yeah.
You enter your name. Enter your name, for example, my name. Enter your name, Mỹ Linh, Thái Hà, Trang Tâm Nguyễn. Okay. I do not want to show the answer, So I close it. And you can do the task that appear on the smartphone or your computer or your device. For example, question number 1, A, you click on submit answer and okay. Number 2, other structure, France. I click on France, submit answer, and okay. Now I show the answer for you, and you see it clearly. And question number 3, it's a both verb and now. Yes, submit answer, and okay. And you can see the result here as a report. And if you want to get the mark for student, usually progress, you score percent. And for C, 6.7, meaning 100%, and you can get the result here. And if you want to get the finished, okay. If you want to get more explain for a student, you can click on edit, and you can give your explanation here. You can give your explanation in English or your own language. For example, get married. It mean and so on. For example, question 2, you click on edit, you can give explanation here. Structure. You can say, in order to explain to your student, very easy. And it's not limited the character of the number and the words. For example, in here, you can edit and add your explanation too. And you can add more tasks with your purpose in save and edit, or you can change. Yeah. If you want more, you only click on the type of question, and it will appear, and you can design your task. Okay. With so creative apps, I often use for the to check the lesson for students, and sometimes I use it for my 15 minutes task for students, because I can get the mark immediately, and it's very easy, and students can see your mark or your result on your computer. And if you have any question about using So Creative app, you can contact me, and I can explain to you how to use more and more clearly. And thanks you to pay attention to my presentation. And now I have introduced Mr. Thảo with the supportive link in listening.
Thanks, Ms. Thái Hà, for the interesting sharing about So Creative. Okay, so now I would like to share with you one website. It's very useful for listening skill. so can you see? Yeah. If you look on the screen, you can see we have one website. It's called eslab.com, and it can provide you so many listening activities, range from easy to difficult. And you can use this website for two purposes. The first one you can use for teaching in class, and second one you can use for student self-study at home. So now the first one, I would like to show you how to use the website for the teaching in the class. Okay, so anyone who teaches tiếng Anh 6 with the unit 7, you know the topics of the unit is about television. And I can, based on the activity on the website, I choose one activities with the topics TV guide, and then I design one listening lesson. Consider 5 main parts. The first one about pre-listening, second one vocabulary, and then while listening, post-listening, and another part is the online investigation. The student can do it at home. And now I focus on 3 main stages of listening lesson. With the pre-listening, you can ask the student to look at the list of TV programs, and then they choose which show interests the most and discuss with their friends. So you can see here we have some program like cartoon, cooking, news, sitcom, and depending on the level of student, you can ask them to do what they can express themselves, maybe in the poster, or maybe they can discuss with their friend. And with the while listening, based on the text you copy from the website, you can design a listening exercise for students. So here I will show you one task, listening task. It considers 5 questions. Look on the screen. The first one is the multiple choice ABC. So question number 1, the student have to choose the channel and the time. And question number 2, they have to choose the man doesn't want to watch reality show because. And the question number 3, and question number 4, and question number 5. It means you can copy and you have a paste on words. And so you can make photocopy for the student they can do in the class. And with the post listening, you can ask students to imagine they were having a party at their house with some friends, and they can have 2 questions to discuss. And with the online investigation, you can ask them to do at home. So now I would like to show you how to do it at the self study. You can look at this. You can look on this website. Okay. You can ask the student to do at home. You ask them to, you can provide the student the web, and then they can click on listening activities. They choose maybe intermediates, and you can move here. There are so many activities here, and you choose the best one for you. TV guide here, and click on that. You can see the first one, pre-listening exercise, so students can do it by themselves, and they also pick up some idioms for them to learn. And with listening exercise, they can click on the bottom play, and then they can do the listening task.
Tự như em mà đi làm dậy 6 giờ mệt vãi xong thế là dậy bình thường. Rồi em chỉ phải ngủ 6 tiếng.
On at 7 o'clock on channel 5.
Yeah, you know I don't like reality shows. They usually show people doing crazy things like,
Okay, the student
eating live
click on
fish or
the
swimming in a
thing
pool full
they
of
want to
snakes.
share.
I don't get into that.
Okay. Well, how about watching a documentary on the life of panda bears in the wild?
Personally, I'd rather watch something
Okay.
with a little bit more action
They
and
can
suspense.
pause any way they like. So you can look at it. If I click on the right answers, okay, they will show you correct, and they also give you the evidence. And if I choose the incorrect answers, okay, they can show you why it's not correct. And then they will show you the answer for correct answers here. Another student can get their score. And if you want to do it again, you can click on try again. Okay, so it means that they can do it again. So students can do as many times as possible. And another thing you can see, they also have a vocabulary practice and also post listening exercise. And one more very important for students, because some of them cannot listen all the thing. So they can click on the script. And with you as a teacher, you can copy this script and then you can bring to the class and then ask students to make conversation based on this one. So depend on the level of student and depend on the teaching context, you can explore these websites. So I think that's some of the things I would like to share with you. So I hope that you can enjoy the activities. So now I would like to introduce Ms. Ngọc Ánh. We'll continue with the sharing about Storybird. Okay, please, Ms. Ngọc Ánh. Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you, Thảo. Good morning, everyone. I would like to introduce you today an app to teach writing to students in language classes. It's not new, and maybe many teachers knew about it. And let's see what it is. Sorry. Okay, can you see? Yes, can you see my screen?
Yes, very clearly.
Okay, so it's called Storybird, a tool for collaborative storytelling. Yes, Storybird is a visual storytelling community-wide because it is free online service for families, friends, teachers, and students to collaborate in creating short visual story together that can easily be shared, edited, or printed. It's called Global Hub. Why? Because you can also use Storybird's library to find and read books written by others. You can comment on books you like and add your favorite to your bookshelf. And now I will show you how to create an account, set up class, create a story, and find stories to read. Now let's go to storybird.com. Okay, here you can sign up for free trial. You can decide which account type. Here you can start with your account as an educator. You should fill in all the details of yours. And then, for example, school information, your emails, and then you can log in your email to activate your account. And now to save time, I am signing in my own one to see. Okay, so this is my page. So if you have an account, you can see the interface like this. You can, as an educator, you should, take notice of different categories here: classes, challenges, read, write, and it's very useful to look at this because it will show you how to, the tips and instruction how to guide your students to develop their skills. Let's see. Here, you see, so there's a lot of tips in here, how to guide your students, to get started writing anything, to choose topic to any kind of writing. There's a lot of tips in here. So let's start by how to make a story. You can, choose this one. If you are happy with this image, you click use the art. And if you want your student to do, or you want to do multiple pages or multiple chapter, click on it. You see here, and then you can add the title of your story, something like this, and you start with the first page of your story by dragging. Yeah, if you don't like the image, you can change it like this. Okay, and then add text in here. Okay. And then you can continue, and you can save your story or save and exist, for example. Okay, you can save your draft. If you have a finished, you can publish your story in here or submit to your teachers, right? And for reading, right? You can choose any book you want to read. For example, here, click it in. Yeah. So here in this book, you can read it, right? Yes. And you can show your favorites, and you can share with your students through Google Classroom like this. For example. Yes, you can share it to your classroom. Here is my classroom. I can share it to my student. You can share it to other social media if you like, and even you can send the email. Very easy. Okay, and you can show your favorites, and you can follow the artist later. And based on the pictures, you can guide your student to write a story. Yeah, and I would like to show you my classes like this. Yeah, the page for my class. Yeah, students can submit their assignment to you. You can assign student task like this. Yeah, you can give them, tasks through Google Classroom, or you can send them to Classroom on Storybird. And in class setting, you should name the class, and you assign the student and change the date at any time here. Or if you want to delete the class, you can click on and upgrade your class. Okay. And in your Storybird, you can have a different accounts like educators and parents, and all the story can be embedded to website, and the products online are on there. Yeah, so it's easy. Do you think it's easy? So let's see. And for how to use it in your classroom. Storybird is very easy to use. It's collaborative writing tools, and you can use them to make poetry You can guide your student to illustrate lyrics to a song or write new different ending to story, write about family tradition, or create a library of stories to share with parents for the end of the year, etc. Having a lot of benefits, Storybook is considered an unique tool to develop your students' writing skills. Not only writing skill, you can integrate this tool to teach students all the skills such as reading, speaking, listening, and it allows creation and abbreviations of language skills, and you can use all the picture to create debates and beyond, in your lesson. And to summarize the benefits of Storybook, I would like to say that it is a collaborative tools, and it is all the set of ready-made from artists of all over the world. They are elegant, artful, and your student can be teaming, working together to make inspirational, visible, emotional stories, and they're all there. Whenever you click on it, you find the story's name, and you will have all the story, stay online. There's a lot of notes for teachers. If you have a teacher account, it is free. But anyway, has some issues. If you have just free trial account, you just have one classes. But if you upgrade it, you will have 3 classes up to 75 students, and their story can be embedded in other websites. There are some tips and tricks for using Storybook. Remember, you should play it before you share it with your students. There are a lot of pictures, so students may find it's difficult to choose their own pictures. So try to preview story you want student to read. There's a tip that you can gather a classroom library or collection to have student preview, and you can reset student password beforehand before assign your student task to do. And there's a tip that you can use Google Classroom to share materials, resources. Right. Maybe limited time, I cannot show you my classroom on Google, but I'm sure that you are high-tech teachers. You know how to make your classroom on Google. And here's some image of my classroom on Google. And here are some of my student stories, right? They made their own story, and now if you want to to read their story again, you just type the name of stories, and they are there. Easy. So I look at Unit 10. Page 50, tiếng Anh 10, version 2. So here's you can assign your student task to write story using at least one sentence of conditional type like this. Okay, student can take turn, or at home they can make up their own comics and sign it to you. Okay. There's another tip that, to how to make your story more lively. So I would like to show you a story of mine. Yes. So it is about, you know, a story. You can make it more lively. You can, you know, create your own by making. Here I use.
Miss Ánh, I'm sorry. Have you just shared with us the story? We couldn't hear anything. So sorry.
You
could you please replay? We couldn't hear it.
You couldn't hear it? What?
No.
Yeah, in fact, I can hear it, but it's not very clear. I think. Yeah, maybe because of the.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, I can hear it, but it's not very clear. But I think in your computer, it might be clearer than for us.
Maybe you need to unplug your.
I think she's using her earbud to listen.
Okay.
The sound would not go straight to the. Like we cannot hear it clearly.
Could you please unplug your earbud, please?
Yes. So I think just so you showing you the ideas of how to make your story more lively. I think you can, if you are interested and you like to watch it again, please can you log it in, and it's always you always there on the YouTube, because I give you the link. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So you know, here I did use screencast-o-matic to make my own video, but you are, again, I think you are high-tech teachers. You can use other tools as Mr. Phạm Ngọc Đức has introduced to you to make it more, advanced video. You can choose background music you like. You can add captions and export to video, audio, and upload your YouTube or your products on YouTube or other websites. That's just an idea to share with you. Here's some links for more.
Miss Ánh, sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think that the teacher, because you has just mentioned the YouTube as kind of the channel to upload all the stories. So I think that you can have lots of subscribers for your personal channel from YouTube. If you upload lots of the videos from your students or your teachers, friends, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Giang. That's a very good question.
Thank you.
I did, make my own channel on YouTube, and I did, clarify the goals and objectives of using that channel.
And you also share with us so that other teachers can subscribe you.
Maybe yes, at the end of my presentation. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm ready, because I have saved on my videos for nearly a decade. On about educational objectives and goals and etc. Okay, to continue my presentation, I'd like to note you teachers some links for more information. If you want to have more information about Storyburst, I think it's very good, video you should watch. It's very, very, beautiful. So you can, you can have information about lesson plans on commonsense.org, and you have some recommendations from Ulyss here also, and even you can read the paper, a study of some Malaysian teachers who have been very successful using Storybird in their English class. And also you can read more about pros and cons of using Storybird and to make it more relevant to your context. So that's my presentation. Thank you for your attention. And may I introduce my colleagues, Miss Hạnh, who's going to talk about, more resources online to for you to deal with tests. Yes, hi, please, it's your turn.
Thanks so much, Miss Ánh, for the introduction and a great source of teaching writing skill. We have taken in abundant and inspiring about knowledge, online resources, and some efficient website for listening, speaking skill, and testing as well. Hopefully, right after the webinar, we can apply them, take full advantage of them, and in our teaching. In this series, I'm excited to recommend some frequent websites that can be made use recently. First of all, that is segment24hour.com. Can you see it? Okay. The website can be used with many. You can download with many books or materials suitable for the kinds of the test or the skill you plan to teach. As you know, usually they are free. In this, you can download books for vocabulary, teaching, or reading practice, or the mock tests generated for GCSE exam. They are always available. And the second similar page is, yes, it is cycle2.net. Okay, I usually use this site for downloading English books and many things as well. The various category can suit your test. Okay. Last but not least, I like to share here my materials for teaching English at the core subjects in national exams, so-called GCSE. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. More than 400 English mock tests have been collected with full keys for detail. And you can focus on reading or vocabulary phonetics or grammar and so on. That is, for example, this is a kind of book. And for example, the topics of phrasal verbs or grammar or word choice or phonetics, you can search for. Okay, that's all for my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, so thank you so much. First, I would like to thank you, Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi Nguyên, Mr. Phạm Ngọc Đức, Miss Đinh Thị Thái Hà, Miss Nguyễn Ngọc Ánh, Dr. Đặng Thị Hương Thảo, and finally, Miss Nguyễn Thị Bích Hạnh, for your useful and practical sharings about the online learning resources for both teachers and students, especially in the backdrop of the COVID-19. So I think that all Vietnamese teachers for all the levels, they're very interested in learning more about the online teaching, and I think it's very useful. To all the participants, if you have any other questions or ideas, please send them privately to our secretary, Miss Mai Hương. Right here, I got a question from a participant that they would like to listen to you, the speakers and the facilitators, for answer. The question is, can you suggest some websites that is useful for teaching primary students? And the teacher here, the primary teacher, I guess, really concerned because her students are very young learners and they are limited to the online and the computer and resources. And how can we suggest her some solution for young learners? From the speakers, please.
May I start?
Yep. So, I'm sorry, Dr. Nguyên, do you have any suggestions for our teacher?
Yep, as in my presentation, I suggested some links to YouTube channels, and you can use some professional communities generated materials like from British Council. The one I gave you with a scenario, we have the teaching resources for all levels. So just explore all of the links in my presentation. I hope that you can find a solution for your students who are young learners or primary. On YouTube, I gave a lot of links in my slides, a lot of good YouTube channels that we can use to modify our class activities like songs. Yeah, so many activities there. For young learners, we can also use some flashcards or worksheets, so many other things else. Maybe the others facilitators also have suggestions. Thank you.
Okay, so participants, if you still have questions for our speakers and facilitators today, please send us the question. So now let me move on to the suggestion for, let me proceed with the discussion between the facilitators and speakers. Ms. Nguyễn Ngọc Ánh, do you have any questions to our speaker and facilitators?
Thank you. Thank you for letting me join in the discussion. May I ask you, Dr. Bùi Thị Khôi Nguyên, that in your last slide, you mentioned about, something like copyright issues. So why, could you explain more why we should, we should not violate copyright?
Thank you so much for your very interesting question, which opens the discussion into another issue. When we use online learning resources, sometimes we use that we are using someone else's copyright or intellectual properties. So I would like to elaborate on that issue. Let me show you some suggestions for making it clear when we use the online learning resources. Okay. All right, so the issues of copyright and fair use. Please always cite the sources of the original content. Whenever we use something, please use linking or sharing or embedding strategies to direct people to the original content. Because sometimes we forget that we are using someone else's properties, intellectual properties. Making this clear would help us avoid violating the copyright issues. Whenever we are in doubt whether we can use that kind of learning resource for our teaching, we should seek copyright holder permission. Sometimes the holders do not allow commercial use. So we should be sure that what we are using is not violating the copyright law. If we are not sure, try to avoid using something that is unauthorized. We can check details of these materials, or sometimes we can find free articles online. We can use these tools. The first one is unpaid world. When you go to this web browser, it will direct you to open access editions of journal articles for free. You can also have the Google Scholar Library links so that you can use the materials online. Whenever you are unsure, just go to any open educational resources to take or to get the materials there, because it's sure, it's open, we can use them. But for other things, if we are not sure, just check for copyright. I would like to share with you some resources that can support these areas. The first one is the link for you to search any keywords or any learning areas in Creative Commons. This is a very large resource that you can use for your teaching. It's free and it's open. The next one is the link to set up the library links with Google Scholar, so that you can save the materials or you can bookmark the websites that you like. The next one is a search engine to find the open educational resources. The next one is also a good one. These are actually more useful for you to find articles, especially if you are trying to set up an online classroom. The next one, yeah, here you have all of the links to the open educational resources. Just click on the link and type in the keywords. Teaching Commons is something really good that teachers should try, because it includes a lot of high quality open educational resources from leading colleges and universities. This one has Unclude.it has a lot of free ebooks. OpenEye, when you want to have some images in biology or medicine, medical studies, you just go to this one. Pixabay have a lot of free stock photos. That means you can use the photos without citing the, without asking for permission from the copyright holders. Unpaid world, as I mentioned earlier, this is the link that you can, the web browser that you can use to get access to many open articles. I hope that clarify what I have discussed so far in my last slide of the first presentation. So copyright issues are something that we should be careful and should pay attention, because if we violate these things, the online learning resources that we are using may not be that good to be used online and to be in public. Thank you so much for your question again, Ms. Ánh. I hope that tells you something about copyright law and copyright related issues.
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Nguyên. It's so useful. Thank you. We might, it takes time for us to learn more, but what you have provided is really useful for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Ánh and Dr. Nguyên. Okay, so I strongly believe that building up the ability and the skills to make the most of free online learning resources requires teachers to spend much time reading references and practicing. We hope that you might acquire an overview as well as several specific details of using free online learning resources. After webinar 4, you will be provided with more references for follow-up reading and practicing. If you have any further questions, feel free to post them to our webinar forum on the Viet Teacher website or join the Facebook group to share and learn from each other. This brings me nicely onto the summary of webinar 4. You have just heard the sharings and suggestions from our speaker and facilitators, as well as their discussions about free online learning resources. The upcoming webinar...
Excuse me, Nam.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there is one more section that is the follow-up ideas from Dr. Khôi Nguyên.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I missed this part.
This is very important because she's going to talk about the Facebook group.
Oh, sorry, Miss Giang and Miss Dr. Nguyễn. I'm so sorry, participants. So not so soon. Let's move on to the suggestions for the follow-up activities for Dr. Khôi Nguyên again. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Actually, now he's just covered something that I would like to share with you. That is the Facebook group that our webinar facilitators and speakers have created and are trying to facilitate the activities there. So this is the name of the Facebook group. If you go online, just type free online resources for English teaching and learning. And this is the link for you to join in. So please, I value networked learning. So I really hope that we can learn a lot from you. All of us are experts, not only facilitators or speakers who have the chance to speak out today. You can go there and show your works and the activities that you used in your teaching, or some suggestions for the new apps, something that we may not be updated, or any suggestions there, or any questions about the problems that you have out there. Just please join us and be part of the professional learning community. We are trying to facilitate, but without you, it means nothing. So please, the materials of the webinar will be uploaded to this link. And I think Giang will, Giang, could you please elaborate on this one? It will not be sent to participants, but will be uploaded to the Viet website, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So this is the link that we can access to all of the slides today, and the materials and all of the things that we have shared today. I would like to share with you what we have prepared to support your teaching. For the Facebook group, we have all of the moderators and facilitators and admins here. We have filling the roster for from March, so next month, until next year. So please join us. We have moderators and admins who are facilitators and speakers of webinar 2 and webinar 4. So Miss Bùi Thị Liên from Luong Son High School, Đắk Lắk, Dr. Đặng Thị Thảo from Hương University of Technology, Miss Đinh Thị Thái Hà from Luong Son High School, Hoa Binh, Miss Giang Thị Trang from ULIS, Hà Nội, Miss Nguyễn Đức Ân from Tây Bắc University, Miss Nguyễn Ngọc Ánh from Vietnam National Institute of Education, Educational Sciences, Mr. Phạm Đức from Hoa Binh University, Mr. Phạm Ngọc Đức from National Academy of Education Management, Miss Trần Thị Thúy from Đức Hợp High School, and me from Giang University, Vietnam National University, Ho Chi Minh City. So we really hope that you participants will join us as admins or contributors. Thank you so much. And if you have any more questions or any ideas, please just tell us, or we can share in the Facebook group. I hope that from this webinar, we have learned something, we have shared something. I saw in the comments that most of you share a lot of new ideas that I have learned from. Thank you so much for your participation and for your time today. I know it's very long, but you have been very patient and you stay until the end. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you, Dr. Nguyên. So I think that like the follow-up activities are really interesting, and I do hope that all the participants will join the Facebook group and we can share and learn from each other and also from the experts. Because like we are quite behind the schedule, so I'm afraid that all the questions you can post it to our website, the webinar forum on Viet website, or join the Facebook group to share. Okay, so thank you. This brings me nicely on a summary of the webinar 4 again. You have just heard the sharings and suggestions from our speakers and facilitators, as well as their discussions of our free online learning resources. The upcoming webinar is writing abstracts for conference presentations with Dr. Đặng, scheduled on April 26, 2020. Thank you all for taking part in webinar 4, and we look forward to welcoming all of you to the upcoming PD webinars exclusive to Vietnamese K-12 EFL teachers. This is the link for proof of attendance and feedback survey. After completing the proof of attendance and feedback survey, you might be eligible for an electronic certificate. See you all at the upcoming webinars. So Miss Giang, could you please show the slide with the link for proof of attendance for all the participants so they can do the feedback survey?
Please unmute you, Miss Giang. Please unmute yourself.
So Miss Giang, are you there?
I think that Miss Mai Hương has already posted, copied the link to the Zoom chat.
Yeah, I'm just pasted the chat box.
So all participants, Miss Hương had just posted a link where you can click and then you can have the proof of attendance for this webinar. And also we also post a feedback survey. Could you help me to finish it? So after you finish on the work, okay, you might be eligible for an electronic certificate. So thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you at the next webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and see you at the next webinar.
Yeah.
Thank you all experts,
Thank you.
participants, and facilitators. See you all in the next webinar.
Thank you, Nam.
See you all.
Thank you. I will end the meeting now. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you.
See you.